Well, howdy ho, my peeps. Woo! I am in the middle of a um, frenzy of thing making. I set the little mice aside in favor of making little quilts and aprons and all sorts of twee crap that has just occupied my creativity brain cell, the one I've got in here. Yeah, it's occupied that brain cell for like weeks. So, what I wanted to do today is show you what happens when a when creativity meets up with procrastination. I'm not going to say hoarding because, you know, while I am definitely a hoarder, um, uh, what I'm more of is a serial gatherer. I will, not the kind you eat, but in succession. I will gather a bunch of stuff together. It will drift across my house. Then I will gather it all up and throw it out, pass it on, donate it, whatever. So I'm coming up on a critical mass situation with the gathering in my kitchen. And I just wanted to give you guys a little peek at what it looks like now. Well, let's start with the clean clothes that have been sitting in that pile for the past 3 days that need to be folded and put away. This is our closet. Grant has this side and I have this side. All right, so, oh boy. I did do a little sweeping. I swept up this area a little bit. You can see my dirt pile there. I have actually swept and steam cleaned. There's my little steam cleaner. I have swept and steam cleaned this little area because I had Mallory in last night. And Mallory, she pees, she drinks, and she sleeps. That's about it. She's going to the vet today because she needs some lab work. Anyhow, so here we go. All of my surfaces have been claimed by items. Here's my basket of pears that needs to be put in my brand new dehydrator. All right, so every surface has got stuff on it. Everywhere you look. Things that need to go out into the pantry and be put away. And dishes that need to be washed. And food items that need to be put away. And dirty pots and pans. Oh, look, and my brand new pink microwave. And it's matching pink toaster. Didn't really need the toaster, but it was only like 29 bucks. The microwave was only 89 bucks. Now, I really needed the microwave because I gave my other microwave to one of my kids. So yeah, that's going out to the, not to the chickens. Well, they'll probably eat some of it, but it's going out to the compost pile. I finally have a compost pile. All right, so I've got a lot of this cardboard gathered. I don't know. I'll probably hold on to it for a little while, just a little while, because of dollhouses. There's a dollhouse that I want to use as inspiration to make as my first cardboard dollhouse. I think I'm going to go ahead and insert a photo of that here. Yeah, so we'll see. I made popcorn last night. I thought it was going to be really wonderful because I was making what I was hoping would be like a caramel popcorn. I used this Truvia sugar substitute. Did not turn out. Turned out nasty. So I don't know. I hope Truvia doesn't kill chickens because they're going to end up with all of the popcorn. Yeah, so there you go. I am up against it today. And as is I'm turning this around. All right, so I really like to show you, I like to pull up my dress and show everybody my dirty panties. And then I like to change my panties and pull up my dress and show you guys, hey, look, I can put on clean panties just like everybody else. Well, that's what I'm going to do for you right here. Not with the panties, but with the disarray in my kitchen. So you saw what it looks like now. And by the magic of video, this is now what it looks like. And snap, it is the next day. I've been working on my kitchen for 24 hours. I swept. I used the mop thingy. What's it called? Steam mop. Did a bunch of dishes, working on food. I got an entire tin trays of pears dehydrated in that marvelous dehydrator there. And they are perfect. When you do pears, you do them until they're pliable. And that's what these are. They are pliable. They're not crispy. Most of them aren't crispy. So that's about right. I'm going to put them in that container. I did clear off my butcher block because I'm in the mood to make pasta. So I needed a spot for pasta rolling. What else did I do? Clean that up. Cleaned up all my glass containers. I've done some cooking. Oh, let me show you what I made today. Now, Grant doesn't like shrimp and he doesn't like pasta, but my son does. Both my sons. So I made a shrimp scampi that I'm going to share with them. I think my youngest might be back tonight for the night. I'm not sure. Then over here, I've got some pollock nuggets that I wasn't going to finish up. And I've got some tomato stuff here. I think I'm going to make a fish stew. Not a full-on Ligurian fish stew, but close to it. As close to it as I can get with the fact that I don't have any basil. I have a little dried basil, so that'll work. Yeah, so what else did we get? Today was food bank day, and we have a ton of grapes. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. Got some canned foods and other stuff like that. This held 6 Southwest salad kits. I had one for lunch. I'm going to feed Grant one for dinner. What else did we end up with? Oh, okay, we got some more pears, which will end up in the dehydrator. Or maybe I'll make pear pie for the neighbor, I'm not sure. And then some little cutie tangerines. So, the kitchen is not clean, but it's better than it was. I haven't done any mouse making since yesterday, because by the time I was done in here, I was tired and I went to sleep early. However, I'm going to drive down to my storage and pick up some supplies. I'm going to bring home a very old crazy quilt that is falling apart in places, but some of the silks are still in good shape. So I'm going to cannibalize some of that material to use in making little itty bitty little mouse quilts. Well, like 4 by 4.5 and 6 by 7. I also need to find some old ribbons, antique stuff that I've been, hoarding forever. I've decided this is a great way to use it up, create these little, quilts and pillows and little outfits for the mice, slap everything on Etsy and see what happens. So that's my plan. And maybe even do some craft shows this summer. I'm not sure. I'm kind of out of the loop on craft shows, but I'm going to look around and see what's available that I can still apply to do. I used to do a lot of craft shows. I'd go over to the coast. My favorite place to go was Pismo Beach, a place called Dinosaur Caves, I think it was called. It was this bluff overlooking the ocean. And I do have videos on my channel amid all the others somewhere with some video from those events. Boy, those were fun to do. I did them once a month for, I don't know, a little over a summer. I think I did 5 or 6 of them. So that was fun. Anyhow, so I need to figure out how I'm going to preserve the grapes. I have no idea. Grant said grape juice, but I've already got like 5 gallons of grape juice sitting out there on my pantry shelves, and grape juice is full of sugar. I shouldn't be drinking it. He shouldn't be drinking, and I really need to pass that stuff on to somebody else who likes that. So I think part of the problem with grapes is they don't dehydrate real well because of all the sugar. However, they might make a nice fruit leather. Again, something that Grant and I probably won't eat. So, you know, you have to ask yourself, how much energy do you want to put into something that you really don't normally consume? And I'm not so sure about these grapes. I wish I had some folks I could just drive around and drop them off to people who would appreciate them. But I don't, because everybody else I know up here, we all hit the food bank. The food banks will be drying up here pretty soon. We heard that one of them is going to close down. In part, it's funding issues, but also we probably have one too many food banks up here as it is, because this new one just doesn't get people. They've got all this food left over, and it goes into the landfill. So, you know, I guess we just need to try to get the word out to people. I used to pick up food for a woman who didn't have any transportation. Now she's got a car, so she's all signed up and does her own food banking. But yeah, it's a shame to see this stuff end up, you know, not passed on to some. Well, like the canned foods and the box stuff, of course, they can ship that back or they can do whatever with that, but I doubt that they do. I think that probably just ends up in a landfill as well. So it's just all this beautiful produce. Oh God, you hate to see it go to waste. So anyway, that's one of my challenges right now, is to try to get it in the hands of somebody who needs it. So yeah, that's what I have. That's what I have done. Again, I'm not even nearly done with cleaning this kitchen, and let me show you what I want to do now. So now that I've given the surfaces all a once over, I need to get into these cabinets and organize them. There's a bunch of stuff in my cabinets that really doesn't need to be there. I call this my baking cabinet, but yet it's got all kinds of bits and bobs and candles and stuff that doesn't belong in there. So that I'm going to pull out, organize that a little bit better. All of this food that is in that alcove needs to be taken out and moved to the pantry, because that is where my refrigerator is going to go. I'm going to have Grant hook it up so that we can, you know, we can use that little alcove for the refrigerator. That will be great, because what it's going to do, it's going to free up this entire corner. Forgive me if I've already talked about this, you guys, but this corner where the refrigerator is now, I want to free that up so the counter can go all the way to the wall, and I can have cupboards up above. All that needs to be cut out of there. And that will give me a lot more counter space and more space to put the food, so the food doesn't have to be, you know, sitting out, or whatever. The stuff that we actually use on a daily basis I can keep in the kitchen. I'm really conflicted about this whole wall right here. I think they called it unfitted kitchen. That's where you use standalone things like cabinets and cupboards and cutting boards and, you know, all of that as the places where you put your stuff. However, it cuts down on something that is seriously needed, and that is counter space. I just don't have enough. So that's going to take some creative thinking to figure out how I can keep this unfitted kitchen look. And because in my mind's eye, I can see it, everything painted with the strawberry wallpaper up, and, you know, cupboard doors that I've recently purchased in that area and up above there. I can see this in my mind's eye pretty much as it exists right now, but you know, painted and new countertops and all that. Problem is, I don't want to go too built in because I've, you know, it's where do you draw the line? The line may actually be drawn with this area turning into counter space and cupboards, and I may just go ahead and build in my sink and leave my two cabinets where they are right now. I love cabinets. So anyhow, I'm still working on that. Now let's come into the craft area where at my craft desk. I'm just gonna kind of pan around. You can see that I've got a lot more material in here. Maybe you can, I don't know, than I had earlier. I'm trying to pull in the stuff I know I'm going to use. For example, these little rose buds, I think they're going to find a place in pine needle baskets. Oh, here are the pine needle baskets. That's what I've made so far. And then there's the little quilt that I made. Grant brought me that wasp nest. I just love it. And this little girl's trying on her apron before I get it finished. So let me show you something else. We were at our friend Matt's house, and as we were for waffles the other morning, and as we were walking back out to the car, I noticed that he'd cut down a bunch of branches from one of his bull pines, and there's one of the branches, and I snatched it up and I said, Matt, can I take this home? He said, sure, what do you do with it? And I told him about the baskets, and then I offered to make him one with his pine needles. And this is the beginning of his pine needle basket. It's just going to be a tray, more or less, with sides that come up. Something you might put your keys in, or I don't know what. I don't know what you do with it, but I'm making it for him anyway because he thought that was a cool idea. What else do I have over here? Okay, I've told you that I'm doing these mice in series. My first series was called the Strawberry Gang. And there is the Strawberry Gang finished. And I'm thinking, okay, well, what other kind of gangs do I want to do? I was thinking about doing one called the Patchwork Gang, but trying to make patchwork clothing for these itty bitty little mice is almost impossible. It's very, very tough to make anything that isn't too bulky. And then it starts to look weird and fake and loses its miniature charm. For example, here's a little apron I made. I don't know if that's even showing up. Sorry if it isn't. Anyhow, I made this little apron, but it's bulky. I don't like how thick the tie is, and it just lacks what I'm going for. So and by the way, I pieced all this by hand. Those are tiny little, you know, half-inch squares, 10 millimeter squares that ended up being like half-inch patches. And boy, that's about as small as I can sew without making a big mess. So I may not do the Patchwork Gang. I do have a lot of acorns though, so I'm thinking, well, the Acorn Gang, that's wonderful. I can do all kinds of fun stuff with the acorns, so that'll be cool. So yeah, so this is what I've been up to. I think I've showed you, I know I've showed you all of this, so forgive me if I'm being boring. So here's my little hen that I made. Well, I made something else to go with her. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. No, that's not it. That's a blueberry that I'm not sure is going to work. Let's see. Try to make these tiny little itty bitty little berries and stuff. That's been a challenge for me to figure that out. I'm not as good as all the other people who do this. Unfortunately, I can't find it. Anyhow, what I made for her was an egg. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to suspend the egg from underneath her self, so the egg will hang right underneath her. And then I'm going to put a little sign on her. I'm not sure what it's going to say, but this is actually something I'm doing as a gift for a friend who keeps chickens, loves chickens. She loves the whole chicken motif thing, so that's going to her. Oh, and then this is all of my tiny little tatting thread that I've used to make these itty bitty, you can kind of see it through there, just micro crocheted granny squares, and turn those into little, you know, little bedspreads. Okie dokie. So yeah, I guess I did do something yesterday. I worked on that basket. Now today, in addition to cooking, I am going to, in just a little bit, about an hour, I'm going to pick up my neighbor and we are going to drive into town, and hopefully the weightlifting class the instructor didn't show on Tuesday, hopefully it will be on for today. And I really want to see if I can do this class. It's intermediate. They call it intermediate to advanced exercise class for healthy adults. Well, I'm now a healthy adult, and I'm just really chomping at the bit to build muscles. So we'll see if I can handle it. Great. If not, I'll sign up for it when I feel like I can. So anyhow, so yeah, I'm doing that. I'm going to come home and do a lot more cooking. I need to offload some of the food that's in my freezer that's just been sitting there. The shrimps that I made the shrimp scampi for, I mean, they were bordering on freezer burn, and I haven't even tasted them. I don't even know if they're decent. They probably are. So anyhow, I'm at this place where I just hate the idea of any food going to waste. I'm to the point where I've had Grant start a compost pile for me, and the chickens, I'm sure, go over there and pick at the compost pile, which is great. And anything that I've got that the yard cats can eat, we try to, get that shuffled out to them as well. So yeah, I think this preserve, save, don't waste things imperative that I'm working on right now is a direct result of how I feel about everything that's going on in our world, not just our country, but in our world right now. And so it helps me to feel like I'm in control. I know it's just a psychological game I play with myself, and I know that, but it helps keep me calm instead of, smoking dope or drinking or shoplifting or, whatever other weird crap people do to try to keep themselves calm. My method is to use up every scrap of food and to make things out of trash and pine needles. That is how I'm handling it. So, yeah, on that note, I'm going to say goodbye, and I will be talking to you guys later.